Hey, this is Nick, aka The Weiler, here for the Deadly Operative Grunts Show.
The Deadly Operative Grunt Show! Oh, yeah.
Alright, thank you for joining us on the Deadly Operative Grunt Show. On today's show, we're going to be talking about shovelware and how much we hate it and how much it ruins the gaming industry. And in dog watching, we're going to be talking about the cure for wellness. Dogs at Play, we're going to be talking about the new Horizon Zero Dawn, PS4's next big, epic exclusive. Super excited about it. But first, let's get some post-week news. It's time to get pwned. Alright, well, in post-week news, we have Call of Duty's next game will go back to its roots. And so, essentially what this means is they're carrying on the rip-off train, and now they're ripping off Battlefield. First they had to rip off Titanfall, and now they're ripping off Battlefield. I mean, I think we've made it pretty clear here at Deadly Operative Grunts, we're not super hyped about Call of Duty, and I mean, for good reason. They've all been very much the same, and you know, I think especially after Titanfall, when they kind of took the reins and like, oh, now we're gonna do stuff like that, it was kind of just like a little bit egregious. And now, since they're going back to the roots, and they heavily implied that that meant World War II. They didn't come out and say it, but they kind of heavily implied that. And so that kind of makes me a little pissed off because, you know, just come up with something original, you know. And I think the main thing that makes Call of Duty so kind of tedious is that it's just over and over again, it just keeps doing the same thing. So if we're going to go back to the roots, then that means go back to a good game. Netflix announces Castlevania series. So this actually seems really cool because obviously we can all attest to the fact that video game movies just aren't that great. The most common complaint is that, you know, you're taking like a 6 to 20 hour plot and try to cram it into a 1.5 to a 2 hour movie. And that just doesn't work. It's like trying to take a whole season and cram it into one movie. I'm looking at you, Avatar. So this actually really excites me because Netflix originals have been knocking it out of the fucking park. They have been absolutely awesome. And now it's taking a genre that I absolutely love. And you know what? If they don't follow the storyline, that's okay, because we can still have it in the Castlevania universe. But now, instead of having an hour and a half, which is, come on, what most of the video games are, they're an hour and a half, hour and 40 minutes, maybe 2 hours. But now we have like 6 hours, 8 hours, you know, depending on how long each episode is. If they give us, you know, up to 10 episodes, it could be 10 hours. That could be a real freaking game, and we could get a real good story about it. So in the comments below, let us know, what is your top 10 games you would like to see as a series, and we'll do a top 10 Tuesday for that. Moving right on, we have Nintendo wants to release 2 new mobile games next year, or I guess technically this year, with the success of Mario Run and the somewhat success of Fire Emblem on the mobile. They want to keep that going, and I mean, this is kind of cool. Mario Run, I can't wait for it to come out on the Android, and this is just really a good way for them to kind of capitalize on that nostalgia and do it in a way that I think speaks to the kids of today. And, you know, there's nothing really wrong with that. And, you know, as long as their quality stays up here and they're not just trying to push out shovelware, we're going to talk about that, I think it's going to be really cool. The new update of PlayStation 4, you can finally use an external drive. This is going to be pretty cool. I'm going to go out and get like a terabyte drive just so I can actually fit all my games onto my PlayStation 4. Anytime anything new comes out, I pretty much have to play the which one of you do I hate the most game and figure out what I'm going to delete so I can fit whatever it is. Because God forbid if you have a freaking disc, you still have to download the entire effing game onto your system. So at least now with being able to have an external drive, it just makes me so ecstatic. Moving right on, Infinity War from the Marvel Cinematic Universe. They just put out a trailer. They didn't show anything else than like concept art, but what we did get to see was Chris Pratt.
I thought it was Pine.
Star-Lord. We got to see.
No, it is Pratt.
Is it? Chris Pratt.
Pratt or Pine?
Pratt. You know, it's your fault for picking a name close to somebody else's Chris, okay? That's all I'm saying. Tom Holland and Robert Downey Jr. Of course I got those names right. But we got to see them all together talking about how excited they are about starting filming. Because that's really all that's happened, is that they've started filming. And you kind of got to look at like the different sets they'll be doing. A lot of the executive producers were talking about how big of a production they're trying to make this so that it's unlike anything ever before. I'll make sure to put that in the link below. It's actually a pretty cool watch. And it's just nice to know that it started, because it's like, it just means it's that much closer. I'm super excited for Infinity War. And finally, I have just 5 words for you. And I would like you to go ahead and sing along with me at home. Bill Nye the Science Guy. Bill. Bill Nye Saves the World. They put out the trailer for it. It is coming out on April. And obviously, just like any other Netflix series, which Netflix, you're hitting it out of the park, guys. You're hitting me right where it counts. I mean, who didn't learn how, condensation worked from Bill Nye? Who didn't learn about how molecules move around from Bill Nye? I'll tell you who. Frickin' millennials! You damn dirty apes! We love you. Please stop. Just keep watching. Anyways, I'm super excited. They didn't really show off that much, other than the format is kind of like a normal Bill Nye show, but it's done in front of a live studio audience, so that just means he can get them involved, and they'll laugh and they'll cheer for everything that happens. So I'm totally cool with that. So I mean, that's it for our post-week news. Up next, we're going to be doing our Spitfire review. This is a new segment we'll be trying out. Alright, so this is a new segment I want to try out called Spitfire Reviews, and that's just where we can take something and just do a really quick review of it, other than, like a long formatted one. I mean, obviously those take a little bit more time, so at least this we can just give you a basic idea of what to expect and, our recommendation for it. So our very first ever quick Spitfire, I better get the name right, our very first Spitfire review is How to Survive 2. I don't like it. All it had to do is take the first game and make it better, make more of it, give me more to do, but instead what I got was an absolute travesty. And the funny thing is that it's been out for like 3 years and it's still this bad. So let's see. Some of the things that changed were just so insignificant. It's like, why did they change it? For instance, you used to be able to do a charge attack. You can do that in this one, but you have to stay still. In the first one, you could do a charge attack. You'd move a lot slower, but you could charge up and then do that. Whereas now you have to basically plant your feet, charge, and then do it. And it's just so stupid that I don't see why they did it. Another feature they have is that you can see through objects. So like if you go inside a building, you can see through the walls. If you're in a woods, you can see through the trees. What makes this absolutely stupid is that it's just a circle around your guy, and you can just see through that circle. Now, most isometric RPGs like this, when you go inside a house, it just cuts the roof off, which is very intuitive. You still get a feel of everything, but it doesn't look so goddamn cheap. And there's certain objects that no matter what, you can't see through them, so that it actually obstructs your view. And also, it's pretty much Fetch Quest Simulator 2017. Although I guess it came out in 2015, so Fetch Quest Simulator 2015. So let me tell you just real quick the couple of quests you have at the beginning. Very first quest, go kill 5 zombies and collect 2 herbs as the secondary. Next quest is go find a DIY store and collect all these things on the side. Third one is you meet a guy, or you want to go to a farm and you meet a guy and he wants you to kill 30 zombies. Next one is you go and you find some more stuff. Next one is you meet a guy and he wants you to kill 10 coyotes. I could go on and on, but why bother? Because that's the freaking game. So overall, it is just terrible. And I don't have any problem awarding How to Survive our very first ever burn. Burn this freaking game. I unfortunately bought it, so I'm screwed and it's on my hard drive. And even if I delete it, it'll be in my history forever. Moving right on, I'm going to go ahead and do a quick Spitfire review of For Honor. Now, I played the beta. I haven't played the full game. But let's face it, the beta ended 2 days before the game came out. It's the freaking game. There's nothing they can change substantially that will make it better or worse. So I'm pretty confident that I know pretty much everything that's going to be in it other than maps and people. So I love it. It is a really good game. The best way I can describe it is pretty much like Dark Souls, but competitive. Because unlike certain like hack and slash games where you can kind of just go up and try to do a barrage of like sword slashes, this is a lot more methodical. You really have to think about not only what kind of attack you're going to do, a quick or a strong attack, but from what direction, up, down, or up, left, and right. And you can also block up, left, and right. And so you have to be really good about that. The classes they all feel way different. They all feel very distinct from each other. They have different abilities. Not only that, but every single one of them has a different weapon. You have to get to know that weapon. You have to get to know how fast does it swing? What kind of attacks does it have? And so that's another reason I really feel like it's like Dark Souls. And that's a good thing, just so you know. And I see this having a huge esport following. I really hope that the community stays with it and we get an esport out of it, because it would be fun to watch. This would be a game like Rocket League. Rocket League is super fun to watch because it feels like a real sport. This game, because it's kind of like a Street Fighter where there's 1-on-1, there's also 2v2, and then the MOBA-esque mode is called Dominion, and you have 4v4, and you're actually trying to control areas. That's my favorite mode, and that I think would be a good way to like end a PvP match. So maybe you start off with the 4v4 elimination, and then the last match is like the best out of 3 out of 5 Dominion. So you have to make it past the elimination or get good enough points or something to even make it into Dominion. I think it could be really cool. So I'm gonna award it a must buy. So we're going with both sides of the spectrums on that. So, I mean, that's it for the Spitfire reviews. Let me know what you think about it. Have you played these games? Do you agree with me? Let us know in the comments below. Up next, we're going to be doing Dogs at Play with Horizon Zero Dawn. Hey, this is Nick from the Deadly Operative Grunts show, and when I want a place to go hang out, drink some beer, play some old school arcade games, I go to Spacebar Arcade in downtown Boise. Check them out, and don't forget to tell them that the Deadly Operative Grunts sent you. Hello, and welcome to Dogs at Play. Today we're going to be talking about the new exclusive for PlayStation 4. If you don't know this, obviously most of us have a PlayStation 4. We do have a new guy, and he's doing some Xbox stuff for us. Kevin actually has an Xbox One, so I mean, good for him.
It's building slowly.
It's keeping up. It's the PlayStation 3 of consoles.
Yeah.
So anyways, Horizon Zero Dawn has robot dinosaurs.
Yeah, robot dinosaurs, robot everything, pretty much.
Right.
Looks amazing.
Yeah, I mean, when I first saw this, I mean, first off, when they first showed it, it showed Gorilla, so we're like, oh, a new kill zone, that's cool. But then all of a sudden, it like slowly starts to it does like the story cinematic at first, where it's like, you know, kind of setting up, you know, the universe that we're in at this point. And so we're like, okay, what is this? There's a bunch of old buildings, and it looks like, you know, it's like hundreds of years after man has like died off or whatever. Okay, oh no, they're people, okay, and they have spears. It's like, I think that's one of the things that interests me the most, is like the concept of like going so far forward in time, you actually end up like going back.
Yes, yeah, it's like, well, yeah, it's like time just restarted in a way.
Yeah. I mean, you see it in like Futurama when Fry gets knocked into the freezer, first episode.
Yeah.
And so it shows everything changing outside, and it's like castles get built, and then the UFOs shoot them down, and then they get built up again. And
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it has that concept where it's like, basically there's gonna have to be a reset button, you know, and so that reset button was, I'm assuming either Skynet or the agents.
Sky agents, probably.
Sky agents. So, I mean, I'm thinking maybe that'll be one of the mysteries you'll be able to uncover, is exactly, you know, maybe how this all started or whatever. And the cool thing about it will be is that it'll be spoken as if it's like urban legend. It's like long ago when the robots first came to us.
Yeah, and they even call them machines, so they know that they are machines.
Right. So they have that concept, and obviously we haven't devolved so much that it's like
like Planet of the Apes.
Yeah, right, yeah. I mean, they get so well, and I think that might be more because like we were their slaves, and so we were treated so poorly that, you know, we didn't. Anytime we would talk, they'd be like, "Don't speak to me."
Yeah.
Whereas here, it does seem like there's at least you know, pockets of survival, and so just the whole concept is just fucking fascinating.
Yeah, and I don't know if I've actually know of a game out there quite like it yet.
Yeah. I mean, they just had Far Cry Primal, but that's real life animals, and it's a
cave.
Yeah,
and cavemen. So
cavemen. So I mean, it's maybe the same concept, and I think that's what will make it so unique. Is that there might be other games out there that have dealt with like the caveman era, or even you know, bow and arrows and crossbows and stuff like that. So there are plenty of games out there that are like that deal with that kind of stuff, but then they take it and they flip it in such a way to really make it its own. And I mean, that's what's going to be just so engaging about this, is just, you know, I've never seen anything like this, you know, even in, like, the first time I saw it, I actually was like, okay, so this is what happened after iRobot. They become sentient, you know, the very end of iRobot, you know, what's his face is up at the top of the hill, and they're all just kind of congregating.
Smith, you mean?
No, the robot, Sonny.
Oh, okay.
Sonny. So Sonny's up at the top of the hill, just like his dream, you know, so there's a lot of symbolism there. But anyways, I'm like, how funny would it be if, like, this is the future of iRobot? So you have all the human-looking robots, and they got together, and they realized, oh, no, we're really bad people, and so maybe they start trying to make their own community, and something goes wrong somewhere because they're making, pretty much dinosaurs, and it's just like it becomes the iRobot / Jurassic Park, and they take over the world.
And that's what I'm interested in, is like, because usually, we humans, we build androids, something that resembles us, and from what I've seen, there's nothing like that. They're all resemble animals or extinct dinosaurs or something, or insects, because there's that, what they call it, the shell breaker or something that looks like a big spider that has a big old thing on his back.
Yeah, like maybe kind of crab-like, because it takes stuff and then puts it in its back. So it's like maybe like what are those crabs called with the little shell on them?
The hermit crabs?
There you go. Maybe it's something like that. Like that's what they're imitating. So yeah, it'll be interesting if we will come across any humanoid androids, and like those were the creators, and then maybe the animals came up against them, and so maybe there's only like one left. Yeah. And you go on a quest and you find that one android. He's all like, "It was all my fault. I'm the one who flipped the switch," or something like that.
He's the one that's corrupting them all.
Yeah.
On accident.
Right.
So, yeah.
it would be really interesting. I could see like a twist where like you go to defeat the last guy, and then instead of blood, it's like, the milk.
The milk blood.
At least it's not the blue milk. I mean. But anyways, the whole concept of it, and plus the fact, I think another really intriguing thing is that it comes from Guerrilla. So like I said, I thought it was going to be another Killzone, but instead it's an open world RPG.
Action RPG. It has all kinds of stuff in it.
Right.
Crafting.
Right, crafting. So, I mean, you definitely get a little hints of, like, Far Cry, like I have mentioned before. But what makes that so intriguing is that we know Guerrilla can make a good game. They did it with all the Killzones. All the Killzones were really good games. It's just, besides the very last one, which actually wasn't done fully by Guerrilla, which is like Shadowfall, thank you. So that has open areas, but the whole thing itself isn't open. It's still very linear. You go from like a big open area, and then the next segment is, okay, here's a corridor, you gotta go and shoot a bunch of people. And obviously Killzone 1 through 3 was very much, there might be a big corridor, or an arena, so to speak, like in Doom, where you go into one arena and you can attack different ways, but it's pretty much just, you're still going in a very straight line. So for them to go from something so simple, keep it simple, stupid, keep going from something like that to just something so out of their comfort zone.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, yeah.
So, I mean, that is another reason why it's so intriguing. And you can tell just by watching all, like they have different development diaries, and, I mean, you could tell they put a lot of, just looking at it. If you muted it, and you just didn't even listen, you just looked at it, you could tell they've spent so much time on this. And, I mean, the lore is going to be fascinating, the characters are going to be fascinating, I mean, God.
It's definitely a step above Killzone, you know. Or Killzone, it's shoot 'em up, go to the next stage, shoot 'em up, go to the next stage. It did have story into it, but, just like almost every first-person shooter, the story's always lacking.
Right.
And so, yeah.
I mean, Half-Life had a story.
Yeah. So for them to go to something like this where, like Killzone, you got maybe 8 to 10 hours of gameplay, and then that's the story mode, and then then you got unlimited multiplayer as long as you want to keep playing it, to something where it can go, I would assume 40 to 60 hours,
right?
Depending on how open world it is. It's definitely a step, I believe, in the right direction, and something that I'm definitely looking forward to playing.
Oh yeah. I mean, one of the cool things is it kind of does maybe an open world trope, so to speak. where you have to like climb a tower and that reveals the area.
Yeah, the long necks.
The long necks,
tall necks, something like that. Yeah.
But that's what's kind of cool. It's not a tower; it's a moving, living creature.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's still kind of the same thing where it's almost like a little platforming puzzle that you have to try to figure out. Okay, there's the next ledge I can jump to, and then you unlock the area. But I think that's just what makes it so cool.
Mm-hmm.
It'll make me wonder how will they do it like on the mini map. Like it's like it can be in this area, so you have to go to this big circle and just like look for it. That would be cool. I hope they don't show me exactly where it is.
And I wonder if you'll have, because I know you have, because once you find it, you have to do something, and then you have to climb on something to climb onto it in the first place. Mm-hmm. So I'm wondering if you can climb trees and cliffs just so you can get a better surrounding. Mm-hmm. Like how far of a depth of vision that you'll be able to have for a game like this.
Oh God, yeah.
Be able to see something like that.
Yeah. Oh my God, so good. I mean, so let's talk about the story for a little bit. From what they showed at the trailers. There's like a rival tribe and they're corrupting the machine, so they're kind of making it go on their side. And so, I mean, that definitely, I think, will open it up to an interesting avenue, because obviously before it's like they're just trying to survive, whereas now it's like it's malicious, there's intent behind it.
Yeah, possible war brewing. Yeah.
I mean, it's like you thought it was bad before. Now it's like someone's controlling them. That it's going to be really cool. And
it seemed different too because when she was, and I can't remember her name. Started with an A. Alora. When she was fighting or attacking a normal, I guess you would say, machine or animal. Mm-hmm. There wasn't any. Signs of like it was actually being hurt, I guess you would say, like it would hit it, and there was no oil or blood, I guess you would say, spraying out. But when she was attacking a corrupted, I've noticed on several occasions that there was some sort of blood and or oil, I guess you would say, spewing out everywhere.
Yeah, it's like a black smoke.
To me, it looked more liquid.
Oh yeah, okay.
It seemed like it was spraying more than misting.
That's kind of cool.
So it makes me wonder, like, I mean, like, if they're controlling them, are they, like, what does that symbolize? Are they becoming more alive?
Right.
when they're becoming corrupted, or?
More like bioorganisms rather than just sentient beings?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, bio machines. Mm-hmm. There's a term for it. I don't know, but yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely super interesting. I like how everything you use is basically made out of parts that you've scavenged off of all the different dinosaur rubits. Mm-hmm. So you have like your bow and arrow. It looks like there's like a part of it. Some of the armor, like your shoulder pieces, look like it was just ripped off of one of the dinosaurs, and things like that. And not only that, but then there's like headdresses and just everything just looks so... It looks authentic. It looks like, guerrilla warfare because like they have to take what they can. And then not only that, but the whole crafting system, depending on what animal you kill, will also help you get like explosive fire arrows and stuff like that. And then obviously you can... I wouldn't say corrupt, but you can turn them to your side. You can hack them, yeah. Hack, there you go, thank you.
You can hack them.
So then you can actually ride them, which might seem a little bit like Far Cry, but I don't really see that as a bad thing. I think this has been going on for so long. They might have seen Far Cry 3, where you could, get on certain animals or whatever.
On the, what is it, 3? 3 wasn't the one with the elephants, was it?
That might have been.
That was
No, it might have been 4. So, I mean, Far Cry 3 might have been out when they first started, so I highly doubt that they saw Far Cry 4 and they're like, oh, now we have to do that. Yeah. I'm pretty sure from the very beginning, they're like, how cool would it be, you know, riding on a, you know, robot buffalo?
Yeah. Yeah. Big old steer or whatever that thing was.
Yeah. I mean, I can't stop talking about it. It just looks so good. I definitely want to play it. We're definitely going to do a Let's Play, maybe a review of it. Are you excited for it? Let us know in the comments below. And
there's one thing I do want to tell you, because the main thing that I'm looking forward to it is that they actually have conversation choices.
Yeah, like an RPG, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I was actually going to bring that up myself.
I haven't seen something like that since Dragon Age Inquisition. Mm-hmm. And it's been way too long, because I absolutely love having choices on what to say. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's not even Elder Scrolls do that, so I'm really looking forward to that. Mm-hmm. It gives you your character, you know, it can even bring yourself into that character by the choices that you make. And I wonder, by changing your choices, will it change the story at all, or how it, you know, plays out?
Yeah, I wonder if there'll be like a Paragon or Renegade kind of situation like there was in Mass Effect. Mm-hmm. But not only that, but I hope that it has tangible repercussions. You know, if you can either decide, like, I think the best example, because I'm gonna go old school on you guys, but I think a really good example is like Dino Crisis, very first one. You can either go with Gary or you could go with like Rick, and so actually by doing that, it completely changed how you took on a situation. So sometimes if you went one way, you'd end up having to like double back and do the other thing anyways. But now it would be harder, you know, and things like that. I just hope they do stuff like that, because when they have a Paragon and Renegade, that's fine, and it's like, oh, you know, instead of people being nice to you, they're a little dickish to you or something like that. That's like, I really want it to be tangible. You know, I don't want it to be, you know, just something that just, I mean, it's nice to put myself in, and I like that, but I want there to be real world implications to what I'm doing. I want there to be gameplay, you know, like maybe instead of getting like a flame arrow, I get an explosive arrow, and I'll get the flame one eventually, but it's down the road, you know, something like that.
Yeah, that would be nice to see.
So let us know if you're excited for it in the comments below. Up next on Dog Watching, we're going to be talking about a cure for wellness.